What's going on, everybody? This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. We're going to mix it up a little bit today. For the most part, this is going to be a show that should have been done on Monday and today. But obviously, you know what happened this past weekend. You kind of know what happened. So I had to address my thoughts on the media and what they were doing or lack thereof. And so we kind of got past that. So I'm kind of bringing some more topics from, Monday to the forefront. Well, the ones I want to do on Monday to the forefront. So if this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Ball. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern football and Atlanta Falcons football. But today we're going to mix that up. And if you are interested in listening to more of this or other ways of listening, I am on YouTube and Rumble. If you want to have just audio, I am on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. So hopefully you guys will find other ways to subscribe or, share this content on different platforms, because it's cool to do so, because you never know, one of these platforms may go down and you can listen to them on other areas. So also, if you want to contribute, the links are down in the description. If you really like the content, that does help this, not only the channels, but the podcast grow in general. So hopefully you guys will check all the avenues out and help me expand this program. All right, let's get into this. Before I want to talk about, football stuff, because we're going to get into the football stuff when it gets to the Falcons. I'm going to go outside of my element and talk about something I don't know much about because I don't follow it. And I do apologize for not following it, because I did not realize how successful things have been for Georgia Southern Cheerleaders. Now, I know that's not in the title, but I want to give them their due. I want to give them their praise, because they won the National Cheerleaders Association National Championship for 2022. And they've been back-to-back champions. Now, I did not know this. All this time I sit here and I follow Georgia Southern stuff. I mean, I don't talk about it much on here, but I talk about pretty much, I don't talk about it, but I know pretty much about their athletics from a distance. If it's, I know a little bit about baseball and the basketball, the rifle team, the golf team. Shout out to the golf team. They won the Sun Belt Conference. The tennis team is doing well. Soccer. I follow it from a distance, but as far as this show goes, I don't really talk about it. And I want to give these girls their props. They did a phenomenal job of winning another national championship, back-to-back titles. And I didn't know this. This is their 8th overall since 2008. So in the past, 12, 14 years, they've won 8 out of that. That's incredible. I mean, we're talking about pretty much a dynasty, and Georgia Southern is known for national championships, and I don't care really, where it comes from. Like I said, it could be from the cheerleaders all the way down to, I don't care what, debate team. I don't even know if they even do that, but whatever competition we have, I want to be the national champion in all of it. And I mean all of it, and it's just phenomenal. So incredible achievement for these girls. I mean, like I said, it's the 7th national championship for the all-girl team and 8th overall since 2008. That is just straight awesome. Georgia Southern, they also claimed the national championship in the co-ed division in 2017. I mean, these girls are just phenomenal. So I just wanted to put that out there. Congratulations to the all-girls national championship team for cheerleading. It's just great. Good to see. Also, I want to talk about Georgia Southern baseball real quick. So that's one of the topics. Let's go ahead and get into that. Georgia Southern baseball, the men's baseball just got finished beating up on the Texas State Bobcats. They're number 11. They're number 10. They were number 10 in the country at the time. Beat them and won 2 out of 3 in the series. Very, very good. Very, very good and very solid wins for Georgia Southern. Unfortunately, they're not ranked because of this, but I will say they are 20-11. That's actually pretty good. 8-4 in the conference, and I don't know the entire conference schedule, but I think they're like 1 or 2, and they're like 1 or 2 in the Sun Belt. So, I mean, these guys are doing pretty good as well. I mean, shout out to these guys at Georgia Southern. I mean, the baseball team has always been pretty decent. Always been a pretty solid team, but for them to pull that off is actually pretty great. I mean, we got a handful of wins over Georgia, because I mean we beat up on number 20 Georgia at one time. We split a series against them, and we were doing pretty good against them throughout the season. Well, last year we were, and it's just a really good thing just to have solid athletics overall. It's not just basketball, or basketball is kind of falling off a little bit, but they should be able to bounce back. But football and and all the other sports, it's good to have solid teams across the board. So I really like to see all of that. So hopefully, that will continue. And I would be remiss if I wouldn't talk about I would be remiss if I wouldn't talk about Georgia State. I'm sorry, not Georgia State. We play them in baseball later on this week. But I wouldn't be remiss if I talk about Texas State social media. I mean, they just started blocking everybody. It was ridiculous. It was actually hilarious. And I mean, I just wanted to chime in and I said, look, these sore losers are having a meltdown because they can't take an L properly. Hell, they blocked me too. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not really tripping on it or whatever, but I just thought it was funny. And they need to do better. I mean, that's kind of pathetic that they're blocking people because they lost a game, and it's not. I mean, it's all fun and games at the end of the day. Nobody's sitting here taking it too serious. It's just a game, and when you get to that point, you feel like you have to block people for stuff like calling you guys out for being arrogant, and you end up losing the series at that. I mean, you got to take it on the chin. You got to take it in stride and be like, all right, we lost that one, and we'll be back in another time. So I'm really interested to see, what happens with Texas State. I'm actually interested to see if, Georgia Southern can go ahead and we have to play Presbyterian next. Then we go a 3-game series with Georgia State. That's going to be good. That's going to be pretty good. And they play in Statesboro, so that's pretty dope. Probably have to watch that. Like I said, this is one thing I haven't been doing. I haven't been following the baseball team like I should. I mean, the guys in the Discord has been doing a really good job of keeping us up to date, which I highly recommend you follow us on come through the Discord and chat with us. But they've been doing a pretty good job of showing or letting people know what's going on the in the baseball side of things. And I think that we need to start doing that. Now, we as in, people who are not watching. I think we should be able to do that because it's pretty cool to see a team actually doing good and doing they need all the support when they're doing a really good job. So we're gonna see how that plays out. I'll probably watch some this weekend. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see. All right, before I get over to the Atlanta Falcons stuff, I want to talk about Adam Schefter real quick. I didn't really address him yesterday when I talked about the whole, Dwayne Haskins situation, and rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. Very tragic what happened to him. Well, Adam Schefter had some very, insensitive remarks, but he since then apologized. He apologized publicly, yesterday. So that's, really cool to see that he, publicly apologized and let people know how, wrong he was and how things, could have been done better. And, sometimes I don't really care about people's apologies because I feel like if you have to apologize on something that could have been avoided, it was basically meant to say that you meant to do it. And if you meant to do it, then just stand by it, So I feel like, in most cases, I look at people's apologies and be like, all right, okay, they apologize. And just shrug my shoulders, keep it moving. But I will say in this instance, I believe that Adam Schefter was sincere with his apology. I believe that he realized that he messed up. I think he realized that he didn't put things out the right way. And I know the mob is still going to go after him. I mean, that's just something he's going to have to live with. Adam Schefter has been under so much scrutiny because of some things he's done prior to this Dwayne Haskins things that I don't want to get into. But I feel that he has, he's just going to have to take that. I think he did the best thing that he could was apologize, and that's cool. It's okay to apologize and move on. I think he did the right thing in this instance because the way that it sounded, even though it sounded like he wrote it all on a piece of paper, I think he learned his lesson on this one. I think he'll be really hesitant to go and do something of this nature again. Now, do I sit here and say that all is forgiven and don't go after him. I mean, do what you want to do. Me personally, I don't follow him on Twitter. I don't know anything about that, his ways. I just hear about him. But I feel like with the situation, you tweeting what you tweeted and you come back and apologize and you gave him a real send-off, give Dwayne Haskins a real send-off. I can't do nothing but say, okay, from what I hear, it sounds like it's sincere. If it is, that's cool. If it's not, I'm going to still do what I do. So, but I think at the end of the day, I think this is a lesson learned for everybody. Anybody in the media, small, big, or indifferent, as far as being in the media. If you're big time, that's cool. If you're not, we all learn something. That it's not okay to be first. It's not all the time. I think the whole thing about being first is starting to fall back a little bit. I think more people are starting to understand that. I think a lot of people starting to understand that it's okay to be right and wait 5 or 10 minutes and be right instead of just trying to be 5 seconds ahead of everybody and be first and have a disaster like this. So hopefully that he learned from it. I hope other people has as well. And, we'll see how things play out. Football season is right around the corner. He's going to be tweeting and talk about stuff sooner or later. Maybe he'll be a little bit hesitant. Now, before I get out of here, I want to talk about this. Atlanta Falcons BPA seems real. So, BPA means best player available. I think this is becoming to be a reality at this point. There's been some edge rushers that have been meeting with Atlanta. I think this is like the third or fourth quarterback that's been meeting with Atlanta. There's nothing set in stone that's going to happen at number 8 or probably the first 3 picks. The first 3 picks, the 43 and 58th pick, I don't think nobody knows what's going to happen with those picks, and that's a good thing. People are speculating. I think there are some people up to mock draft number 10, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. How many times do you think these teams are going to change their mind? The fact that they're changing their mind is just the fact that nobody knows. And I think that's a really cool enigma. Now, we can all give our opinions about who we think they should pick up, but at the same time, I think the mystery of it all actually is pretty cool. I like to have the mystery of it and be surprised or with the good pick or surprised with the head scratcher. And I think that's something that we all should be able to appreciate, because it's not okay about, I ain't gonna say it's not okay to be right, because you want to be right, especially in your thought process. You want to be right, but when it comes to like another team picking another player, being right is cool, but I think it does take away from the mystery of it. And I think that's one thing that we are all kind of missing out on when it comes to the draft nowadays, because you don't know really who's gonna go at what spot. Most of the time you may know who's gonna be going number 1 or number 2, maybe in some cases even number 3. But really, to be honest, it just feels better when we don't know. In my opinion, I feel like it's much better that we don't know, because I think now Sam Howell's supposed to be visiting the Falcons really soon. I think it's really interesting to see who's all is coming to visit, official or unofficial, because it's just I ain't gonna say it's all over the place, but you just don't know, because now they got Sam Howard to meet, and they had a couple of other guys that's supposed to be meeting. I think they're up to like the second or third quarterback, and they're and most of the other players that are coming in to meet like edge rushers, so that's gonna be really cool to see what happens there. I'm really interested in that, because when you're doing the draft, because I think last year I did a draft, a live stream, and it was fun because, I had a couple of guys with me. We were all in the chat talking, and every time when my team picked something, it was a little exciting. It's not really exciting when you really kind of know, but it's like really exciting when you like really see what this team is thinking about, what they are actually trying to do, what Terry Fontenot and them are trying to put on the field. Because last year we kind of saw it. The whole Kyle Pitts, Chris Dahlman, I think Dahlman was a rookie. I can't remember. Richie Grant, Tyquan Gardner. You want to see those guys like that continue to push, and it's always a good thing. So always try to, get those guys better and put those guys out there. And then you bring in the second batch of guys in the draft. We just don't know who they're going to pick. I think it's going to be a lot of smart picks, and the best player available is, for the most part, smart pick. You just don't want to duplicate the, as far as the position, obviously. But I think that, with Terry Fontenot and them, what they've done in year one with him and Arthur Smith together, I think they're going to be okay. But, I just, the more people that comes to Flowery Branch, the more people who come to the Falcons organization to interview, it seems like the best player available situation is going to be, something to behold. And I think it's something that we may need to, face the fact on, because I know a lot of people in Discord want edge rush, some people want other positions. It's just something where it calls for good discussion when it's healthy. But when you don't know and you have some people stuck in their ways, they must pick this player, it's not as fun and it's not as exciting. So I'm liking what I see from the Falcons with all these guys are moving in the interview and have a scheduled situation where they get to sit and talk, or they get to figure out what the facility look like, what Terry Fontenot, what Arthur Smith are trying to do, and it may intrigue them to want to come to Atlanta if they're drafted by Atlanta. So that's going to be really interesting to see. That's going to wrap it up for me. If you like this content, the like button, share this content wherever you are. Share it and let everybody know what we're doing over here. Once again, I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google. So you can click any of the links down there to try to subscribe to any of those areas where the audio, or the visual is on display. Also, if you want to donate, you can click the links down below as well. Help contribute, and it helps the podcast grow. It really does. All right, a little bit shorter than usual, but I think I got my point across overall. Shout out to, once again, to the lady cheerleaders of Georgia Southern national title. Shout out to the baseball team of Georgia Southern being number 10 Texas State, not once but twice, and took advantage of the series between the two. And we're going to continue to watch what the Falcons do. All right, y'all. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. You guys be easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.